We have Dheeraj Sachdev, the managing partner, CIO at Roha Asset Managers, joining us now to discuss fundamentals of the market. Dheeraj, point blank question, what's your outlook for 2022? What's likely to do well? What's likely to not do well?
Yeah, hi, good morning, Mangalam.
Morning.
So we are entering a phase of strong corporate earnings cycle as we step into 2022. And we expect corrections in the Indian market will be short-lived and not very meaningful. If you actually look at it, the demand or growth is firing across almost all sectors and coming back to pre-COVID levels. Now, this will lead to strong earnings growth in the second half of financial year 22 and also for the full year financial year 23. So yes, there are pockets where valuations have run ahead of time, but the likes of capital goods and engineering, manufacturing sector, NBFCs in the housing finance, select PSUs will continue to get recognized in terms of relative undervaluation. Now, what we are seeing is that the return on equity or ROE improvements have been strong and the cost of capital has come down. Incidentally, earnings of capital goods companies are at cyclical lows and can improve significantly as the capex cycle picks up. So while there are concerns that US Fed will raise interest rates given US inflation, there are still reasons to be positive on Indian market given that corporate capex outlook is looking up after many years of continuous decline. Now, whether this is driven by PLI-linked investments or commodity upcycle or growth in emerging segments like data centers, there are new investments happening across pharma, consumer electronics, chemicals, cement, metals, oil and gas, and so on and so forth. So our belief is that, on Omicron, we can only say that the world is better prepared. And based on initial studies, we are hopeful of a limited impact of Omicron variant on both lives and livelihoods. And any exaggerated reactions in the market should be buying the opportunity. Now, since you asked about the themes and sectors, I mean, engineering and capital goods obviously is one where we like. Real estate cycle has come back after again many years of declining trend thanks to lower interest rates or work from home culture or driven by IT salary or hiring, etc. And that will have a multiplier effect on many other businesses in the building product segment. Housing finance, cement are the other areas that we continue to like. Besides, our favorite continues to be the chemicals and pharma segment because the earnings are fairly resilient. So net, there are several themes to play in 22, whether it is import substitution, local manufacturing, ongoing digitization, shift from unorganized to organized sector, and green technology.
Dheeraj, but I want to just get back to the macro picture. You spoke about one of the risks, and that is higher US inflation, and therefore we could see, the Fed raise interest rates. Wouldn't that be a risk for PE valuations, which are anyway on the higher side compared to mean valuations? Isn't there a risk that we could actually see valuations get derated or crunched down? Or is that in the price already at 17,000 Nifty?
So if you see, basically the trends in US, I mean, retail investors have poured in $1 trillion in market this year, higher than the total of last 20 years. I mean, US households now actually have overtaken corporate houses as the biggest contributor to net demand for equity stocks. Similar trend is happening in India where equity culture is just the beginning versus traditional forms of investments like fixed deposit or gold, which is no longer a preferred asset class. So this domestic investment itself will overtake or absorb FII flow. So we are not really perturbed by 2 or 3 rate hikes. Of course, the only thing is that the valuations in some cases may have run ahead of time. So you have to increase the tenure of holding period to expect reasonable returns and modest returns. So a buy and hold approach in portfolio makes sense to take advantage of the beginning of a very secular growth in the economy, rather than expecting what has happened in the last 6 or 12 months as far as the returns are concerned.
Right. As we speak, we have a pocket which is surging yet again. It's the logistics back. Transport Corp, for instance, is now up 7.5%. This over and above the 200% gains that it's seen in 2021 itself. All Cargo Logistics is the other one, which is up almost 4% odd. So, we've seen big moves in individual pockets where there is a fair amount of profit or runway for growth available as well. What are your thoughts on these places? Do you think they've run up ahead of their fundamentals and the timeline, like you said earlier, should be expanded for reasonable returns here, or maybe there is still time to get in after this 200% up move?
So specifically on logistics, Mangalam, commercial vehicle is clearly showing signs of a sharp recovery. And the only problem is on the auto sector in general. There are input cost pressures and semiconductor shortages. So two-wheelers and cars, we are meeting it before going overweight on the sector. So the fleet owners that you talked about and the logistic players, they are benefiting from higher freight rates, and they have definitely gone up. So the logistics players are obviously expected to see better earnings and can be a preference versus OEM manufacturers. But of course, the valuations are not cheap in many of these places, and we don't find it too attractive to park money at this stage after the run-up.
You're positive on real estate and all the other sectors that it can pull up, but most of these stocks have actually done very well. What is your expectation in terms of earnings growth from, say, the Bombay-based real estate companies or the Bangalore-based real estate companies?
Reena, I think this is still the beginning of a cycle as far as real estate is concerned. Of course, the stocks are partly discounting it, but there could be still some way to go. Because you see, there are several factors which are coming together. One is 6.5% to 7% interest rates are obviously driving the demand. You already saw Mumbai registrations crossing 1 lakh. The newspaper report suggested last week, and that is higher than the pre-COVID levels. So work from home gaining prominence. Obviously, you require higher square feet of area as a residential premises, or salary hikes in IT sector. So these are all the confluence of factors which are coming together, which means that the Bombay real estate, which has been languishing with unsold inventory, that unsold inventory will recede over time before even real estate prices start appreciating. And there are certain companies which are developing their mill lands or monetizing those parcels of very prominent land. I mean, that will have a fairly decent amount of multi-year kind of launches with improved cash flows. So one has to be very selective in terms of geography, location. You mentioned about Mumbai and Bangalore. Obviously, these are two prominent markets. It could also include Pune. And this is a space which is witnessing the biggest shift in demand from local C-grade developers to large and deep-pocketed A-grade developers. I mean, that's the space in real estate where unorganized to organized shift is happening in a big way. So we believe it is still the beginning of a cycle, despite some part of stock price rally which is reflected.
Right, we'll monitor that as we go along 2022. As we speak,